Pluribus is among the most courageously intellectual and emotionally shakiest series to hit screens in recent memory. It eschews cheap twists and surface shocks in favor of a steady, creeping dread and fascination that disassembles our beliefs about identity, choice, and reality, bit by painful bit. From its opening moments, it invites viewers into an apparently ordinary world, then fractures it with the chilling realization that no life is singular, and no version of a person is truly unique. One of the first and most startling moments arises as characters realize that different variations of themselves simultaneously exist in parallel realities, each not as a distant possibility, but as living, breathing beings whose choices ripple through one another and make free will fragile and disconcerting. The unease deepens with the coming of forced consciousness merging, an acutely disturbing idea brought to life in those scenes where two versions of the same person are fused together into one mind, leaving a character overwhelmed by clashing memories, emotions, regrets, and fears, an existence that feels far less like survival than psychological death. The series expands this idea even further with the unforgettable Council of Selves, where many versions of a single person come together to argue over who deserves to keep existing, turning self-reflection into a literal trial, and showing how morality frays when survival is a matter of probability rather than principle. One of the most emotionally jarring moments has to be the first voluntary erasure, when a character calmly decides to stop existing for the perceived stability of the multiverse. The scene is denied music and drama. It compels the audience into the depths of disturbing logic that self-annihilation seems to make, when merely to exist is a burden. Just when viewers like to think they understand the rules of this broken universe, Pluribus pulls a devastating rabbit out of his hat. Our protagonist, whom we have followed from the beginning, is not the prime version but a replacement inserted after the original failed. This retroactively readjusts all emotion connected with him and makes the audience wonder whether authenticity will ever matter if memories and emotions feel real anyway. The series deepens its psychological impact through its depiction of time loops that reset memory but not trauma. It shows characters who wake up with no recollection of prior cycles, yet instinctively respond with fear, anxiety, and hesitation, scores indicating pain is tattooed deeper than conscious thought, and the body remembers what the mind tries to erase. In the multiversal collapse, Pluribus reaches its most visually and conceptually jarring crescendo. Whole realities bleed into each other, cities strobe between versions, and people glitch in the middle of sentences. The laws of physics fracture. The series then makes the daring creative choice to flicker sound out of existence, leaving the viewer in silence as worlds unravel. The destruction becomes intimate, inevitable, and deeply unsettling. As the story nears its end, tension reaches an almost unbearable pitch when the characters are confronted with a final moral dilemma. Only one reality can survive, which means that saving one world requires erasing countless others. Every argument in this debate feels both justified and monstrous, because with each perspective comes real lives, real memories, and real suffering that would be lost forever. When the series finally lands on a decision, it holds back on any comfort of spectacle or closure by cutting to black instead of showing the destruction and making the audience bear the weight of what has been chosen, to imagine the consequences rather than passively witness them. What makes Pluribus truly memorable is the way these provocative, shocking moments come together in a profoundly human narrative about fear of being replaceable, haunted by the idea that another version of you might have lived better, and quietly terrified that identity may be nothing more than a fragile agreement between memory, circumstance, and survival. Long after the last episode, the series lingers in the mind, turning every regret into a branching reality, every what-if into a living possibility, and every personal choice into a reminder that somewhere, in another version of existence, things unfolded very differently.